I do not mean what the world means by not caring. I do not mean indifference born of defeat or resignation born of failure. No, my friends, I speak of a divine detachment, a sacred letting go that comes only when you have absolute faith in the creative power of your own wonderful human imagination. This is the detachment of the master, not the indifference of the slave. You see, most of you have been taught to care in all the wrong ways. You have been conditioned to care about outcomes, to care about how things will come to pass, to care about the opinions of others, to care about timing, to care about methods and means. But I tell you tonight that this very caring, this anxious attachment to the how and when and where is the very thing that blocks your good from coming to you. Think of it this way. When you plant a seed in the ground, do you dig it up every day to see if it is growing? Do you worry and fret about whether the sun will shine or the rain will fall? Do you lose sleep wondering if the soil has the right nutrients? Of course not. You plant the seed with confidence, water it appropriately, and then you let nature take its course. You trust the process completely. This is the kind of divine indifference I am speaking about tonight. Your imagination is the seed. Your assumption is the planting. Your faith is the watering. But your anxious caring, your desperate attachment to outcomes, your constant checking and worrying, this is like digging up the seed every day to see if it has sprouted. You destroy the very thing you are trying to create through your lack of trust in the creative process. I want you to understand something fundamental about the nature of creation. Everything that exists in your world first existed in imagination. The chair you sit in, the building that houses you, the relationships you enjoy, the circumstances of your life, all of these were once merely imaginal acts. Someone imagined them into being. And the power that brought them into your physical experience is the same power that operates through your imagination right now. But here is what you must grasp. This power operates according to law, not according to your personal will or desire. It is as impersonal as the law of gravity, yet as personal as your own breath. When you assume something to be true in your imagination and sustain that assumption with feeling, it must externalize itself in your world. This is not a maybe. This is not a possibility. This is law. The problem arises when you do not trust this law. When you plant the seed of your desire through imaginal assumption, but then begin to care anxiously about whether it will grow, you are actually assuming that it will not grow. Your caring becomes a form of doubt, and doubt is simply faith in reverse. You are using the same creative power, but now you are creating the very opposite of what you desire. Let me illustrate this with a story. A woman came to me once desperate to marry a particular man. She had been doing her imaginal acts faithfully, seeing herself as his wife, feeling the joy of their union. But she was also constantly worried. Would he call? Did he care for her? What if he chose someone else? Her days were filled with this anxious caring, this desperate attachment to the outcome. I told her exactly what I am telling you tonight. Stop caring so much about whether it happens and start caring more about the feeling of it being done. The difference is crucial. One is attachment to the external world of effects. The other is commitment to the internal world of causes. She protested, as many of you would. But if I stop caring, won't that mean I don't want it anymore? This is the great misunderstanding. I am not asking you to stop wanting what you want. I am asking you to stop being anxious about getting what you want. There is a vast difference between desire and anxiety, between intention and desperation. When you truly stop caring in the way I mean, when you release your grip on the how and when and trust completely in the what, something miraculous happens. You enter what I call the Sabbath state. This is the state of rest that follows creation. In Genesis, we read that God created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh. This rest is not the rest of exhaustion. It is the rest of completion. It is the knowing that it is done. In this Sabbath state, you are no longer trying to make things happen. You are no longer pushing and striving and manipulating. You are simply being in the assumption of the wish fulfilled. You are living from the end, not toward the end. And from this state of rest, from this divine indifference to appearances, your world begins to rearrange itself to match your assumption. The woman I spoke of earlier took my advice to heart. She stopped checking her phone every 5 minutes. She stopped analyzing every conversation with her beloved for hidden meanings. She stopped asking her friends what they thought would happen. Instead, she entered into the feeling of being his wife whenever she thought of him. She lived in that assumption quietly, privately, without fanfare or anxiety. Within 2 months, he proposed. But here is what she told me later. I almost forgot that I had wanted it to happen, because by the time it did happen, it felt so natural, so inevitable, that it was as if it had always been true. This is the sign of successful manifestation. It does not come with fireworks and fanfare. It comes so naturally, so easily, that you almost forget you once desired it. It feels like the most normal thing in the world, because in the world of imagination, which is the only real world, it has always been true. But you must understand that this letting go, this divine indifference, is not a technique. It is not something you do. It is something you become. It is the natural result of absolute faith in the law of assumption. When you truly believe that imagining creates reality, when you truly understand that assumption hardens into fact, then you no longer need to care anxiously about outcomes, because you know with absolute certainty that your assumptions must manifest. This is why I often say that the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the key to all manifestation. Not the thinking of the wish fulfilled, not the hoping for the wish fulfilled, but the feeling. And what is this feeling? It is the feeling of satisfaction, of completion, of rest. It is the feeling you would have if your desire were already a fact in your experience. Most of you have never truly felt this feeling because you have never stopped caring long enough to enter it. You are so busy worrying about whether your desire will manifest that you never actually experience the feeling of it being fulfilled. You are like someone who is so anxious about whether they would enjoy a meal that they never actually taste it. I want you to try an experiment tonight. Think of something you have been trying to manifest. Now, instead of thinking about how to get it, or when it will come, or whether it is possible, I want you to imagine that you already have it. Not that you will have it, not that you might have it, but that you do have it right now. Feel the satisfaction of that assumption. Feel the naturalness of it. Feel how it would feel to no longer want it, because you already possess it. This is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And this is the only feeling that creates. All your planning and plotting and worrying and caring, these create nothing but more planning and plotting and worrying and caring. Only the feeling of completion creates completion. Only the assumption of having creates having. But I must warn you about something. When you first begin to practice this divine indifference, your ego will rebel. It will tell you that if you stop caring, nothing will happen. It will tell you that you must keep pushing, keep trying, keep doing something. This is because the ego identifies with struggle. It believes that only through effort and worry and care can anything be accomplished. But I tell you that the opposite is true. The more you struggle, the more you delay your good. The more you worry, the more you affirm that there is something to worry about. The more you care anxiously about outcomes, the more you assume that your outcomes are in doubt. Your ego will also tell you that this teaching is too simple, that surely manifestation must be more complicated than this. It will point to all the books and courses and techniques and teach that promise to teach you how to manifest. But I tell you that all techniques are simply ways of inducing the state of the wish fulfilled. The technique is not the power. The state is the power. You could use visualization. You could use affirmations. You could use scripting. You could use vision boards. None of these things have any power in themselves. They are simply tools to help you enter the feeling of having what you desire. But if you can enter that feeling directly, if you can assume the naturalness of your wish being fulfilled, then you need no techniques at all. This is why I say that when you stop caring, everything falls into place. When you stop being anxious about methods and means, when you stop worrying about how and when and where, when you stop caring about the opinions of others or the appearance of circumstances, then you are free to simply be in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. And from this state of being, the entire world must rearrange itself to match your assumption. Let me share another story to illustrate this principle. A man came to me who had been trying for years to start his own business. He had read every book on entrepreneurship attended every seminar, created detailed business plans, sought investors, networked constantly. But nothing seemed to work. Every door that opened seemed to close again. Every opportunity seemed to slip through his fingers. He was caring so much about making his business succeed that he was actually assuming its failure through his desperate effort. His anxiety about success was creating the very lack of success he feared. I told him to stop trying so hard and start being what he wanted to become. But what does that mean practically, he asked. I told him to stop reading business books for a while. Stop networking. Stop trying to force opportunities. Instead, spend time each day simply feeling what it would be like to be a successful business owner. Not trying to become one, but being one in imagination. He resisted at first. But if I stop doing all these things, how will my business ever get started? This is the voice of the ego. The voice that believes in external action as the source of all good. But I reminded him that everything he had been doing for years had not worked. Perhaps it was time to try a different approach. Reluctantly, he agreed. For 30 days, he did nothing to advance his business in the external world. Instead, he spent time each morning and evening simply assuming that he was already a successful business owner. He imagined making decisions from that state. He felt the satisfaction of having achieved what he desired. He lived mentally in the end result. At first, this felt strange to him. His mind kept wanting to plan and plot and figure out how things would happen. But gradually, he began to enjoy this state of rest, this feeling of completion. He began to care less about whether his business would succeed and more about the feeling of it having already succeeded. On the 23rd day of his experiment, he received a phone call from someone he had met briefly months earlier. This person had been thinking about a business venture and remembered their conversation. Would he be interested in partnering? Within 6 months, they had launched the most successful business of his career. The strangest thing he told me later was that when the opportunity came, it felt completely natural. It didn't feel like a big break or a stroke of luck. It felt like exactly what should happen, like the next logical step in a business that was already successful. This is how true manifestation works. It does not come through struggle and strain. It comes through rest and trust. It comes when you stop caring about how your good will come to you and start caring only about the fact that it is already yours in the world of imagination. But let me address a question that I know is in many of your minds. If I stop caring about my desire, won't I lose motivation to take action when opportunities arise? This question reveals a fundamental misunderstanding about the nature of inspired action versus ego-driven action. When you are operating from the state of the wish fulfilled, when you have truly stopped caring, in the way I mean, you do not become passive or inactive. Rather, you become naturally responsive to the opportunities that the law of assumption brings into your experience. But these actions feel effortless, natural, inspired. They do not feel like work or struggle because they are not born of desperation but of assumption. The man I just spoke of did take action when the opportunity arose. He made phone calls, he attended meetings, he made decisions. But these actions felt natural and easy because they were flowing from his assumption of already being successful rather than from his anxiety about becoming successful. This is the difference between inspired action and ego-driven action. Ego-driven action comes from the belief that you must make things happen through force and effort. It is born of the assumption that your good is not assured, that you must fight for it, struggle for it, prove yourself worthy of it. This kind of action is exhausting and often ineffective because it comes from a state of lack rather than a state of having. Inspired action, on the other hand, flows naturally from the assumption of already having what you desire. It does not feel like work because it is not work. It is simply the natural movement of someone who is already living in the end result. It is as natural as breathing or walking. When you truly stop caring in the way I mean, you will find that the right actions suggest themselves to you at the right times. You will not need to figure out what to do because you will be moved to do what needs to be done. You will not need to force opportunities because opportunities will present themselves naturally. You will not need to convince anyone of anything because your state of consciousness will do the convincing for you. This brings me to another crucial point about the nature of this divine indifference. When you stop caring about outcomes in the external world, you begin to care more deeply about your inner world, your state of consciousness. You realize that your state is the only thing that truly matters because your state creates your experience. Most people have this completely backwards. They care intensely about their external circumstances and pay little attention to their internal states. They want to change their world without changing themselves. But I tell you that this is impossible. Your world is nothing but your state of consciousness objectified. Change your state and your world must change. Try to change your world without changing your state, and you will find yourself in an endless cycle of frustration. When you understand this principle deeply, you stop caring about rearranging the external world and start caring about maintaining the internal state that will naturally produce the external results you desire. You stop trying to manipulate circumstances and start cultivating consciousness. You stop being concerned with effects and start being concerned with causes. This shift in focus is itself a form of not caring about the things that most people care about. While others are worried about stock prices and election results and what their neighbors think, you are concerned only with maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled. While others are anxious about timelines and methods and obstacles, you are resting in the assumption that it is already done. This is what I mean when I say that when you stop caring, everything falls into place. You stop caring about the wrong things, the things you cannot control, the external circumstances, the opinions of others, the appearance of delay or difficulty. And you start caring about the only thing that truly matters, your assumption, your state of consciousness, your feeling of the wish fulfilled. From this shift in caring comes a profound peace. You are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances, because you know that external circumstances are simply the reflection of internal states. You are no longer anxious about the future, because you are living in the end result right now in imagination. You are no longer concerned with the approval of others, because you know that their approval or disapproval has no power to alter the law of assumption. This peace is not the peace of resignation or defeat. It is the peace of the master who knows his power. It is the peace of someone who understands the creative process so completely that he can rest in the knowledge that his assumptions must manifest. It is the peace that comes from knowing that the battle is already won, that the victory is already assured, that the end is already accomplished. And from this peace comes a kind of magnetic power. When you are no longer anxious and desperate, when you are no longer trying to convince and manipulate and force, you become attracted in ways that you never were before. People are drawn to your confidence, your peace, your quiet knowing. Opportunities come to you because you are no longer chasing them. Solutions appear because you are no longer struggling with problems. This is the great paradox of manifestation. The less you need something to happen, the more likely it is to happen. The less you care about getting what you want, the more naturally it comes to you. The more you rest in the assumption of already having it, the more quickly it appears in your external experience. But this paradox only seems contradictory to the logical mind. To the awakened consciousness, it makes perfect sense. When you need something, you are affirming that you do not have it. When you are anxious about getting something, you are assuming that it might not come. When you care desperately about an outcome, you are living in the state of not having that outcome. But when you rest in the feeling of already having what you desire, when you stop caring about whether it will come because you know it is already here in the only world that matters, the world of imagination, then you are living from the end. And the law of assumption must bring that end into your physical experience. I want to share with you one more story that perfectly illustrates this principle. A woman came to me who had been trying for years to conceive a child. She had been to numerous doctors, tried various treatments, followed every piece of advice she received, but month after month, year after year, she remained childless. She was caring so intensely about becoming pregnant that her entire life revolved around this one desire. Every conversation, every thought, every emotion was colored by her desperate longing for a child. She tracked cycles, monitored temperatures, analyzed symptoms. Her caring had become a form of worship, but it was worship of the wrong God. the God of lack rather than the God of fulfillment. I told her what I am telling you tonight. Stop caring so much about becoming pregnant and start caring more about being a mother. The difference is subtle but profound. One is focused on the journey. The other is focused on the destination. One assumes lack, the other assumes fulfillment. She struggled with this advice initially. But if I stop trying, stop caring, won't I be giving up on my dream? I explained to her that there is a difference between giving up and letting go. Giving up comes from defeat. Letting go comes from faith. Giving up assumes that the desire will never be fulfilled. Letting go assumes that it is already fulfilled in the world that matters most. I taught her to spend time each day not trying to get pregnant, but feeling what it would be like to already be a mother. Not visualizing a positive pregnancy test, but feeling the satisfaction of having the child she desired. Not hoping for the future, but resting in the assumption of present fulfillment. At first, this felt strange to her, because her mind was so accustomed to the anxious caring, the desperate trying, but gradually she began to experience a peace she had not felt in years. She stopped tracking every detail of her cycle. She stopped analyzing every sensation in her body. She stopped planning her life around the possibility of pregnancy. Instead, she began to live as if she were already a mother in her heart. She began to make decisions from that state. She began to feel the completion that she had been seeking. And in this state of rest, in this divine indifference to the how and when, she conceived naturally within 3 months. But here is what she told me that I will never forget. By the time I found out I was pregnant, it felt like I had been a mother for months already. The pregnancy test just confirmed what I already knew in my heart. This is the power of stopping the anxious caring and starting the faithful assuming. This is what happens when you stop living toward your desire and start living from your desire. This is the miracle that unfolds when you stop caring about outcomes and start caring about states of consciousness. Now I want to address something that may be troubling some of you. You may be thinking, but Neville, there are things I care deeply about: my family, my health, my purpose. Surely you are not asking me to stop caring about these things. And you are right. I am not asking you to become cold or indifferent to the people and things that matter to you. What I am asking you to do is to stop caring anxiously about these things and start caring lovingly about them. There's a vast difference between anxious care and loving care. Anxious care assumes that something bad might happen and tries to prevent it through worry and control. Loving care assumes that all is well and expresses itself through faith and trust. When you care for your family with anxious care, you worry about their safety, their happiness, their success. You try to control their choices and protect them from every possible harm. But this anxious care actually creates more of what you fear, because you are assuming that they are vulnerable, that harm is likely, that your vigilance is all that stands between them and disaster. When you care for your family with loving care, you hold them in the light of your highest assumptions. You see them as safe, happy, and successful. You trust in their ability to navigate their own lives. You support them not through worry and control, but through faith and blessing. And this loving care creates the very safety and happiness and success that anxious care tries to achieve through force. The same principle applies to every area of your life. Stop caring anxiously about your health and start assuming perfect health. Stop worrying about your finances and start feeling the security of abundance. Stop being concerned about your purpose and start living from the assumption that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you are meant to do. This shift from anxious caring to faithful assuming is perhaps the most transformative change you can make in your consciousness. It moves you from the world of effects to the world of causes, from the world of reaction to the world of creation, from the world of fear to the world of faith. And here's what you will discover when you make this shift. The things you were anxiously caring about begin to take care of themselves. The problems you were worried about begin to resolve naturally. The outcomes you were desperately trying to control begin to unfold in more beautiful than you could have imagined. This is because when you stop interfering with the natural flow of creation through your anxious caring, creation can express itself freely through your life. When you stop blocking your good with your desperate attachment to specific outcomes, Your good can come to you in ways you never anticipated. When you stop limiting the infinite power of your imagination with your finite ideas about how things should happen, that power can work miracles in your experience. Remember this always. Your imagination is the creative power of the universe individualized in you. It is not limited by your current circumstances, your past experiences, or your present understanding. It is not bound by the laws of physics, the opinions of experts, or the limitations that others accept. It is the very power by which God creates, and when you use it consciously and faithfully, there is nothing it cannot do. But this power operates through law, and one of the most important laws is this. It responds to assumption, not to desperation. It responds to faith, not to anxiety. It responds to the feeling of having, not to the feeling of wanting. It responds to rest, not to struggle. It responds to the divine indifference of the master, not to the anxious caring of the slave. So tonight, I ask you to consider what you have been caring too much about. What outcomes have you been attached to? What circumstances have you been trying to control? What people have you been trying to change? What situations have you been anxiously monitoring? These are the areas where you need to practice the divine art of not caring. And what I mean by not caring is this. Stop assuming that these things are problems that need your worry to solve them. Stop believing that your anxiety serves any useful purpose. Stop thinking that your attachment to specific outcomes increases the likelihood of those outcomes manifesting. Instead, assume that all is well. Assume that your desires are already fulfilled in the world of imagination. Assume that the power that created the universe is quite capable of handling the details of your life without your near, anxious supervision. This does not mean becoming passive or irresponsible. It means becoming responsive to the promptings of your own wonderful imagination rather than reactive to the appearances of the external world. It means taking inspired action rather than desperate action. It means living from faith rather than from fear. When you master this art of divine indifference, when you learn to stop caring in the way I have described tonight, you will discover something magnificent. Everything you truly desire will begin to flow into your experience with an ease and naturalness that will amaze you. Not because you forced it to happen, not because you worried it into existence, not because you convinced the universe to give it to you, but because you stopped interfering with the natural process of creation through your anxious attachment to outcomes. You will find that the right people come into your life at the right times. You will find that opportunities present themselves just when you need them. You will find that solutions appear just as problems arise. You will find that your path unfolds before you with a grace and beauty that no amount of planning could have achieved. This is the promise I make to you tonight. When you stop caring in the way the world teaches you to care, and start caring in the way I have described, when you stop being anxious about effects and stop being faithful about causes, when you stop trying to control outcomes and start controlling your assumptions, when you stop living in the world of struggle and then start living in the world of rest, then everything you have ever truly desired will fall into place in your experience. Not through your effort, but through your faith. Not through your worry, but through your trust. Not through your attachment, but through your detachment. Not through your caring, but through your letting go. This is the great secret, the pearl of great price, the key that unlocks the door to effortless manifestation. When you stop caring, everything will fall into place. This is not just a possibility, it is a promise. This is not just a hope, it is a law. Trust it, practice it, live it. And watch as your entire world transforms to match the beauty and perfection of your own wonderful imagination. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and when you stop looking for it in the world of effects and start claiming it in the world of imagination, you will find that it was there all along, waiting for you to stop caring enough about the external world to discover the infinite power of your internal world. This is your inheritance. This is your destiny. This is your truth. When you stop caring, everything will fall into place. Imagine, if you will, that you are standing before a vast, intricate tapestry. This tapestry represents your life woven with threads of various hues and textures. Each thread symbolizes a choice, a decision, an action you have taken. Some threads shimmer with golden light, representing moments of clarity and right action. Others may appear dull or tangled, reflecting times when you've strayed from your true path. Now I want you to realize a profound truth. You are the weaver of this tapestry. With every thought, every belief, and every action you add to this magnificent work of art. The question that we must ask ourselves is this: are we weaving our tapestry with intention and purpose, or are we allowing external forces to guide our hand? To focus on yourself is not an act of selfishness, as some might believe. Rather, it is the highest form of responsibility. For how can you serve the world? How can you uplift others if you yourself are not standing on solid ground? How can you offer light if your own flame flickers weakly in the wind of others' opinions and expectations? Let me share with you a fundamental principle that has the power to transform your life. The outer world is a reflection of your inner state. Everything you see, everything you experience, is a manifestation of your consciousness. This means that to change your world, you must first change yourself. This, my dear friends, is why focusing on yourself is not just important, it is essential. But what does it truly mean to focus on yourself? It means to turn your attention inward, to become intimately acquainted with the landscape of your mind and the longings of your heart. It means to observe your thoughts, to question your beliefs, and to align your actions with your highest ideals. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a garden. In this garden grow the flowers of your desires, the trees of your long-held beliefs, and yes, sometimes the weeds of doubt and fear. To focus on yourself is to become the diligent gardener of this inner landscape. It is to nurture the plants that bring beauty and fruit to your life, and to uproot those that drain your energy and cloud your vision. Now let us turn our attention to the second part of our theme, choose the right thing to do. This, my friends, is where the true art of living lies. For life presents us with countless choices every day, from the seemingly insignificant to the profoundly life-altering. How do we navigate this sea of possibilities? How do we discern the right path among the many that stretch before us? The answer lies not in some external set of rules or societal expectations. No, the answer lies within you. It is found in the still, small voice of your intuition, in the quiet whispers of your heart. To choose the right thing is to align your actions with your true self, with the highest version of who you are meant to be. Consider for a moment the last time you made a decision that felt truly right. Perhaps it was a choice to pursue a passion, to help someone in need, or to stand up for what you believe in. Recall the sense of alignment, the feeling of rightness that accompanied that choice. That, my dear listeners, is your inner compass guiding you towards your true path. But here's a truth that many find uncomfortable. Sometimes the right thing to do is not the easy thing to do. Sometimes it requires courage, sacrifice, or stepping into the unknown. This is where many falter, where many choose the comfortable wrong over the difficult right. Yet, I tell you this, every time you choose the right thing, even when it's hard, you are weaving a golden thread into the tapestry of your life. You are strengthening your character, expanding your consciousness, and aligning yourself more closely with your divine purpose. Let me share with you a powerful technique to aid you in making right choices. When faced with a decision, close your eyes and imagine yourself having made each possible choice. See yourself living with the consequences of each decision. How do you feel in each scenario? Which version of yourself stands taller, shines brighter? This exercise harnesses the power of your imagination to guide you towards the right path. Remember, your imagination is not mere fantasy, it is the creative force of the universe expressing itself through you. By imaginatively experiencing the outcomes of your choices, you are tapping into a wisdom far greater than mere logic or reason. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, how can I focus on myself when I have so many responsibilities, so many people depending on me? To you, I say this. By focusing on yourself, by choosing the right thing to do, you become more capable of fulfilling those responsibilities, more able to support those who depend on you. Imagine a mighty oak tree. Its branches reach out, providing shade and shelter to many creatures. But what allows the oak to offer this support? It is its deep, strong roots, anchoring it firmly in the earth, drawing nourishment from the soil. You, my friends, are like this oak. By focusing on yourself, by nurturing your roots, you become strong enough to support not just yourself, but all those around you. Let us delve deeper into this concept of choosing the right thing to do. It's essential to understand that the right thing is not always clear-cut or universally defined. What is right for one person may not be right for another. The key lies in aligning your choices with your true self, your highest ideals, and your deepest values. Consider the story of a young artist I once knew. She had a secure job in a corporate office, one that provided financial stability and societal approval. Yet, every day she felt a part of herself wither away. The right choice for her was to leave that job and pursue her art full-time. To many, this seemed irresponsible, even foolish, but for her, it was the only path that allowed her to be true to herself. This brings us to an important point. Choosing the right thing often requires us to silence the noise of external expectations and societal conditioning. It demands that we tune in to our own inner voice, our own inner knowing. Imagine, if you will, that you are standing in the center of a great amphitheater. The seats are filled with all the people in your life, family, friends, colleagues, even strangers whose opinions you've internalized. They're all shouting their advice, their expectations, their judgments. Now, in the midst of this cacophony, can you hear your own voice? Can you discern your own true desires and values? This, my friends, is the challenge we face. To focus on ourselves and choose the right thing, we must learn to quiet this external noise. We must create space for silence, for introspection, for communion with our higher selves. But how do we do this in a world that seems to demand our constant attention and reaction? The answer lies in the power of your imagination and the practice of what I call mental dieting. Just as you are careful about what you put into your physical body, be vigilant about what you allow into your low intellectual, emotional. Choose carefully what you read, what you watch, what conversations you engage in. Surround yourself with influences that uplift and inspire you, that remind you of your highest potential. Most importantly, practice the art of mental rehearsal. Each night, as you lay in bed, instead of rehashing the events of the day or worrying about tomorrow, use your imagination to rehearse being the person you aspire to be. See yourself making choices aligned with your highest self. Feel the satisfaction and joy of living true to your values. This mental rehearsal is not mere daydreaming. It is the active shaping of your consciousness, and therefore the shaping of your future experiences. For remember, the outer world is but a reflection of your inner state. Now, let us address a common misconception. Some believe that focusing on oneself and choosing the right thing to do is a one-time decision, a single moment of clarity and commitment. But I tell you this, it is a continuous process, a moment-by-moment choice to align with your highest self. Imagine you are sailing a ship across a vast ocean. Your destination, your vision of your ideal self and life is the North Star guiding your journey. But the journey itself is not a straight line. There are winds and currents that may push you off course. The act of focusing on yourself and choosing the right thing is the constant adjustment of your sails, the vigilant steering that keeps you moving in the right direction. There will be times when you lose sight of your star, when the skies are clouded by doubt, fear, or external pressures. In these moments, remember this, the star has not disappeared. It is always there, even when you cannot see it. Your task is to keep faith, to hold steady, and to wait for the clouds to part. This brings us to a crucial aspect of focusing on yourself and choosing the right thing, the power of persistence. The right path is not always the easy path. It may require you to face your fears, to step out of your comfort zone, to stand firm in the face of opposition. Consider the life of any great individual who has made a significant impact on the world. Whether it's an artist who revolutionized their field, a scientist who made groundbreaking discoveries, or a leader who fought for justice and equality. Their paths were rarely smooth or straightforward. They faced setbacks, criticism, and moments of doubt. But they persisted. They remained focused on their vision, on their inner knowing of what was right. You, my dear listeners, have this same power within you. The power to persist, to keep choosing the right thing, even when it's difficult, even when you can't yet see the results of your choices. But persistence does not mean rigid stubbornness. It does not mean clinging to a path that your heart tells you is no longer right. True persistence is coupled with flexibility and wisdom. It's the ability to adjust your course as you grow and evolve, while always moving towards your highest vision of yourself. Now let us explore another vital aspect of focusing on yourself and choosing the right thing, the practice of self-reflection. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to lose touch with ourselves, to act on autopilot, reacting to circumstances rather than consciously choosing our path. Self-reflection is the antidote to this unconscious living. It is the practice of regularly turning our attention inward, of examining our thoughts, feelings, and actions with honesty and compassion. Imagine you are standing before a clear, still lake. The surface of the lake is like a perfect mirror, reflecting the sky and the surrounding landscape. This lake represents your consciousness. When it's cluttered with the debris of unchecked thoughts and emotions, Its surface becomes turbulent, the reflection distorted. But when you take the time to still your mind, to clear away the mental clutter, your consciousness becomes like the calm lake, perfectly reflecting your true self and the world around you. Set aside time each day for this practice of self-reflection. It could be through meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in quiet contemplation. Ask yourself, are my actions aligned with my values? Am I making choices that serve my highest good and the good of others? What fears or limiting beliefs are holding me back from choosing the right path? This practice of self-reflection is not about judgment or self-criticism. It's about gaining clarity, about becoming intimately acquainted with the landscape of your own mind and heart. For how can you choose the right thing if you don't truly know yourself? As you engage in this practice, you may uncover aspects of yourself that you've been avoiding or denying. You may find old wounds that need healing, limiting beliefs that need challenging. This, my friends, is the gold hidden within the challenge of focusing on yourself. For in facing these shadowy aspects, in bringing them into the light of your awareness, you reclaim parts of yourself that have been lost or suppressed. Imagine each of these realizations, each moment of self-discovery as a key. These keys have the power to unlock doors within you, doors to greater authenticity, to deeper self-love, to more aligned choices. Now let us turn our attention to another crucial aspect of choosing the right thing, the cultivation of wisdom. Wisdom is not the same as knowledge. One can accumulate vast amounts of information without gaining true wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to see clearly, to discern truth from illusion, to understand the deeper currents of life. How do we cultivate this wisdom? It begins with openness. Openness to new ideas, to different perspectives, to the possibility that what we currently believe may not be the whole truth. It requires a willingness to question our assumptions, to look beyond the surface of things. Imagine your mind as a vast library. Each book in this library represents a belief, an idea, a perspective you hold. To cultivate wisdom is to regularly browse through this library, to take books off the shelves and examine them with fresh eyes. Some books you may choose to keep, finding that they still hold truth and value for you. Others you may decide to discard, realizing they no longer serve you. And always you remain open to adding new books, new ideas that expand your understanding. This cultivation of wisdom is essential in choosing the right thing to do. For the right choice is not always the obvious one, not always the one that aligns with conventional wisdom or societal expectations. Sometimes the right choice requires us to see beyond appearances to understand the deeper implications of our actions. Consider the parable of the Chinese farmer. When his horse ran away, his neighbor said, "What bad luck." The farmer replied, "Maybe when the horse returned, bringing with it a wild horse." The neighbor said, "What good luck?" The farmer replied, "Maybe when the farmer's son broke his leg trying to ride the wild horse." The neighbor said, "What bad luck?" The farmer replied. "Maybe when war broke out and the son was spared from conscription due to his broken leg." The neighbor said, "What good luck?" And again, the farmer replied, "Maybe." This parable illustrates the wisdom of suspending judgment, of recognizing that we often cannot see the full implications of events or choices in the moment. It teaches us to approach life with openness and equanimity, to trust in a larger process even when we can't see where it's leading. This brings us to another crucial point in focusing on yourself and choosing the right thing: the importance of trust. Trust in yourself, in your inner guidance, and in the unfolding of life itself. Many of us have been conditioned to doubt ourselves, to look outside for validation and direction. We've been taught to trust experts, authorities, societal norms more than our own inner knowing. But I tell you this, within you is a wisdom that surpasses all external knowledge. It is the wisdom of your higher self, your connection to the divine source of all creation. Trusting this inner wisdom doesn't mean ignoring external information or advice. It means filtering everything through your own discernment, your own felt sense of truth. It means being willing to stand in your truth even when it goes against the grain of popular opinion. Imagine you are standing at a crossroads. There are signposts pointing in different directions, each claiming to show the right way. There are voices all around you, some encouraging, some warning, each offering their opinion on which path you should take. But in the midst of all this, there is a quiet voice within you, a feeling and a knowing pointing you in a particular direction. Trusting yourself means having the courage to follow that inner guidance, even if you can't rationally explain why it feels right. This trust is not built overnight. It is cultivated through practice, through small acts of faith in yourself. Each time you honor your inner knowing, each time you choose to do what feels right despite doubts or external pressure, you strengthen this trust. you weave a stronger connection to your higher self. Now, as we focus on ourselves and strive to choose the right thing, it's crucial to address the role of forgiveness, both of others and, perhaps more importantly, of ourselves. For many of us, the path of self-focus and right action is hindered by the weight of past mistakes, regrets, and perceived failures. Imagine you are carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents a past action you regret, a choice you had made differently, a moment when you feel you failed to do the right thing. How can you move forward freely? How can you make clear choices for your highest good when you're weighed down by this burden? Forgiveness is the act of emptying this backpack. It's not about condoning harmful actions or denying the impact of past choices. Rather, it's about releasing the emotional charge, the self-judgment that keeps you tethered to the past. To forgive yourself is to recognize that you, like all humans, are on a journey of growth and learning. Every choice you've made, even those you now regret, has served a purpose in your evolution. Each mistake has been a teacher, offering valuable lessons that have shaped who you are today. Engage in this practice, close your eyes and imagine yourself standing before a younger version of you, the you who made those choices you now regret. Look at this younger self with compassion. Recognize the limitations of knowledge, awareness, or circumstances that influence those choices. Now extend forgiveness to this younger self. Feel the lightness, the release that comes with this forgiveness. Remember, focusing on yourself and choosing the right thing is not about achieving perfection. It's about continuous growth, about making conscious choices aligned with your highest self in each moment. And this process includes forgiving yourself when you fall short, when you temporarily lose your way. This practice of self-forgiveness opens the door to greater self-love and self-acceptance. And from this place of self-love, you are far more capable of making choices that truly serve your highest good and the good of others. Now, let us delve into another crucial aspect of focusing on yourself and choosing the right thing, the power of your words. The words you speak, both to others and in the privacy of your own mind, are far more than mere sounds or symbols. They are creative forces that shape your reality. Imagine that every word you speak is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of the universe. The thoughts and emotions attached to these words are like the water and sunlight that nourish these seeds, causing them to grow and bear fruit in your life. Are you planting seeds of positivity, of growth, of love? Or are your words sowing doubt, limitation, and fear? Pay close attention to your habitual phrases, to the way you talk about yourself and your life. Are you constantly affirming your capabilities, your worthiness, your worthiness to choose wisely and act rightly? Or do you often engage in self-deprecation, in expressions of doubt or unworthiness? This awareness of your words extends to your inner dialogue as well. The conversations you have with yourself in the privacy of your mind are perhaps the most powerful of all. For these are the words that shape your deepest beliefs about yourself and your place in the world. Practice speaking to yourself with kindness, with encouragement, with unwavering faith in your ability to focus on what truly matters and to choose the right path. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, gently but firmly redirect your thoughts. Replace phrases like I can't or I'm not good enough with empowering alternatives. I am capable of growth and learning, or I trust in my ability to make wise choices. This mindful use of language is not about denial or forced positivity. It's about consciously choosing words that align with your highest vision of yourself. Words that support your growth and empower your choices. Consider this: if you had a young child who looked up to you for guidance and support, how would you speak to them? Would you constantly criticize their efforts, doubt their abilities, or remind them of past mistakes? Of course not. You would encourage them, believe in their potential, and guide them with love and patience. Extend this same compassionate, nurturing speech to yourself. As you cultivate this positive self-talk, you'll find that focusing on yourself becomes easier. The voice of your higher self guiding you towards right action becomes clearer and stronger. Your ability to choose the right thing, even in challenging circumstances, is enhanced. Now let us explore another vital element in this journey of self-focus and right action: the power of your environment. Just as a plant is influenced by the soil in which it's planted, the air it breathes, and the light it receives, you too are profoundly affected by your surroundings. Your environment includes not just your physical space, but also the people you interact with, the media you consume, the activities you engage in. All of these factors contribute to shaping your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately your choices. Take a moment to assess your current environment. Does it support your highest vision of yourself? Does it encourage you to focus on what truly matters and to make choices aligned with your values? Or does it distract you, drain your energy, or pull you towards choices that don't serve your highest good? Remember, you have the power to shape your environment. You can choose what you allow into your physical and mental space. This doesn't mean isolating yourself or avoiding all challenges. Rather, it means being intentional about what and who you surround yourself with. Seek out environments that inspire you, that remind you of your potential. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who encourage your growth, who respect your journey of self-discovery and right action. Engage in activities that energize you, that connect you more deeply with your true self. If you find that certain elements of your environment are not supporting your highest good, have the courage to make changes. This might mean setting boundaries with certain individuals, changing your habits of media consumption, or even making significant life changes like switching careers or moving to a new location. Creating an environment that supports your focus on yourself and your commitment to choosing the right thing is not a selfish act. By cultivating an environment that brings out the best in you, you become better equipped to contribute positively to the world around you. Imagine you are a musical instrument. Your environment is like the space in which you're played. A noisy, chaotic space filled with discordant sounds would make it difficult for your true melody to be heard. But in a space designed for acoustic perfection, your music can resonate clearly and beautifully. By consciously creating an environment that supports your growth and aligned choices, you allow your unique music, your gifts, your purpose, your right actions to resonate more powerfully in the world. As we continue on this exploration of focusing on yourself and choosing the right thing, let us delve into the power of intention. Intention is like the rudder of a ship. It determines the direction of your journey. Without clear intention, we risk drifting aimlessly, our choices guided by momentary impulses or external pressures rather than our deeper truth. Setting intentions is not the same as setting goals. While goals are focused on specific outcomes, intentions are about who you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. They are guiding principles that inform your moment-to-moment choices. Take a moment now to connect with your deepest intentions. What qualities do you wish to embody? How do you want to interact with the world and those around you? What impact do you wish to have? Let these intentions become a compass for your choices and actions. For example, you might set the intention to approach each interaction with compassion, to make choices that honor your physical and mental well-being, or to act with integrity, even when it's challenging. These intentions then become filters through which you can evaluate your choices. When faced with a decision, you can ask yourself, does this align with my intentions? Does it support who I want to be? Remember, intentions are not rigid rules, but flexible guides. They allow for adaptation to different situations while keeping you aligned with your core values and aspirations. By regularly connecting with and reaffirming your intentions, you strengthen your ability to focus on what truly matters to you and to consistently choose actions that are in harmony with your highest self. Now let us address a common challenge in the journey of self-focus and right action: the fear of judgment or disapproval from others. Many of us have been conditioned to seek external validation, to make choices based on what we think others expect or desire from us. This can lead us away from our true path, from the choices that are genuinely right for us. Imagine you are an actor on a stage, constantly adjusting your performance based on the reactions of the audience. This might lead to a crowd-pleasing show, but would it be an authentic expression of your art? Would it allow you to fully embody the character you're meant to play? To truly focus on yourself and choose the right thing, you must be willing to step off this stage of others' expectations. You must be willing to face the possibility of disapproval or misunderstanding from those around you. This doesn't mean disregarding others' feelings or perspectives entirely. It means recognizing that you cannot control others' thoughts or reactions, and that your primary responsibility is to be true to yourself and your own inner guidance. Practice seeing others' judgments or disapproval not as a reflection of your worth or the rightness of your choices, but as a reflection of their own perspectives, fears, and limitations. Their reactions say more about them than about you. Moreover, consider this: by having the courage to focus on yourself and make choices aligned with your highest truth, you give others permission to do the same. You become a living example of authenticity and integrity, inspiring others to connect with their own inner guidance. As we near the conclusion of our exploration, let us turn our attention to the profound impact that focusing on yourself and choosing the right thing can have on the world around you. There's a beautiful paradox at play here. By turning your focus inward, by prioritizing your own growth and alignment, you actually expand your capacity to positively influence the world. Imagine you are a lighthouse on the shore. Your light doesn't push or pull the ships in the sea. It doesn't judge which ships are worthy of guidance. It simply shines steady and true, offering illumination to all. By focusing on keeping your own light bright and clear, you provide a beacon that can guide countless others. This is how your journey of self-focus and right action affects the world. As you align more fully with your highest self, as you make choices from a place of inner truth and integrity, you naturally radiate an energy that uplifts and inspires others. Your actions, flowing from this place of alignment, contribute to the well-being of those around you and to the world at large in ways you might not even be aware of. Moreover, as you strengthen your ability to focus on yourself and choose rightly, you become better equipped to be of service to others. Your increased self-awareness allows you to recognize when you're truly able to help and when you might be overstepping or enabling unhealthy patterns. Your clearer connection to your own inner wisdom enhances your ability to offer meaningful support and guidance to others when appropriate. Remember, the world doesn't need more people who sacrifice their own well-being in a misguided attempt to please others or meet external expectations. The world needs individuals who are committed to their own growth, who are brave enough to walk their unique path, who choose to act from a place of authenticity and higher purpose. As we bring this discourse to a close, I invite you to see the journey of focusing on yourself and choosing the right thing as a sacred responsibility. It is not always an easy path. It requires courage, persistence, and a willingness to face your own shadows. But it is a path that leads to true fulfillment, to a life lived in alignment with your highest potential. Every time you choose to turn your attention inward, to listen to your own inner wisdom, you are engaging in an act of self-love and self-respect. Every time you make a choice that aligns with your deepest values, even when it's difficult, you are contributing to the evolution of your own consciousness and, by extension, the consciousness of the world. So, my dear friends, I challenge you to commit fully to this journey. Embrace the practice of self-reflection. Cultivate unwavering self-trust. Speak words of power and positivity. Create an environment that supports your growth. Set clear intentions, and above all, have the courage to be true to yourself, to choose what is right for you, even in the face of external pressures or temporary discomfort. Remember, you are not just a passive observer of your life. You are the author, the artist, the creator. With every thought, every word, every action, you are shaping your reality. By focusing on yourself and consistently choosing the right thing, you are not just changing your own life, you are contributing to the transformation of the world. Go forth with the knowledge that within you lies infinite potential. Trust in your ability to discern the right path. Have faith in the process of your own unfolding, and know that as you commit to this journey of self-focus and right action, you are playing your unique and vital role in the grand tapestry of existence. May your path be illuminated by the light of your own inner wisdom. May you find the strength to remain true to yourself, even in the face of challenges. And may your choices, flowing from your deepest truth, create ripples of positive change that extend far beyond what you can see or imagine. Thank you for your attention, for your willingness to engage in this exploration of self-focus and right action. May you carry these words not just in your mind, but in your heart, allowing them to guide you towards a life of greater authenticity, purpose, and fulfillment. Consider, if you will, the nature of softness. What is it truly? Is it the gentle smile you offer to strangers, the acquiescence to others' demands, the constant bending of your will to accommodate those around you? Or is it something far more insidious, a habit born of fear and misunderstanding that keeps you from claiming your rightful place in the universe? I tell you now with absolute certainty that the softness you have been taught to revere is nothing more than a construct of the world of Caesar, a veil pulled over your eyes to keep you from recognizing your own divinity. When you are soft to everyone, you are not expressing love. You are denying the very essence of who you are. Let us pause for a moment and truly contemplate this idea. Close your eyes, if you will, and imagine yourself as you are now, accommodating, pleasing, always putting others first. Feel the weight of that existence settle upon you. Now ask yourself, is this truly who I am? Is this the full expression of the divine within me? As you sit there, eyes closed, fully immersed in this realization, you are tapping into a profound truth. You are at this very moment beginning to break free from the shackles of false kindness. For what is true kindness if not the honest expression of your divine self? Now, open your eyes and look around you. The world may appear unchanged, but I assure you a profound shift has occurred within you. You have, for a brief moment, glimpsed the power that comes when we shed the illusion of necessary softness. But let us not be content with mere glimpses of this liberated state. The art of stopping being soft to everyone requires consistent practice, unwavering focus. and a willingness to stand firm in the face of others' expectations and demands. It requires that you maintain a clear vision of your true self, not just in quiet contemplation, but in every interaction, every decision, every moment of your day. Imagine, if you will, a man who truly understands his own worth, who recognizes the divine within himself. This man does not acquiesce to every demand placed upon him. He does not contort himself to fit others' expectations. He stands firm in his truth, speaks with conviction, and acts with purpose. How does this man carry himself? How does he interact with others? How does he approach his goals and dreams? This man, my friends, moves through the world with a sense of authority that is palpable. He doesn't wait for permission to pursue his passions. He understands that his desires are divine inspiration, meant to be fulfilled. He doesn't hold back his truth or compromise his integrity, for he knows that in doing so, he would be denying not just himself, but the very God that expresses through him. This man is not unkind or unloving. On the contrary, he is more genuinely loving than ever before. By embracing his true nature, by refusing to be falsely soft, he has tapped into the infinite love of the divine. He has compressed eternity into each moment, and in doing so, he has discovered the secret to truly honoring himself and others. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, if I stop being soft to everyone, won't I become harsh or uncaring? Won't I damage my relationships or lose the love of others? These are natural concerns, born from a misunderstanding of what it truly means to stop being soft. You see, stopping being soft to everyone is not about becoming hard or unyielding. It's not about disregarding others' feelings or trampling over their needs. It's about bringing a new level of authenticity, of divine truth to each interaction. It's about recognizing that the highest form of love is not acquiescence, but the honest expression of your divine nature. When you truly embody this state of divine authority, you find that you naturally command respect without demanding it. You begin to attract people and circumstances that align with your true self. You cease engaging in relationships that require you to diminish yourself, and you begin to forge connections based on mutual respect and shared divinity. Consider the words of Scripture, "You are the light of the world." This is not a metaphor or a pretty saying. It is a profound truth about your nature. When you are soft to everyone, when you dim your light to make others comfortable, you are not just doing a disservice to yourself. You are denying the world the full radiance of God expressing through you. But how, you may ask, does one begin this practice? How does one stop being soft in a world that seems to demand compliance and accommodation? The answer, my dear friends, lies in the power of your wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is the very voice of God within you, the tool by which you can reshape your concept of self and consequently your entire world. Begin by selecting a scene, a short, simple scene that embodies the life you would live if you truly stopped being soft to everyone. Perhaps it's a scene of you confidently expressing your opinion in a meeting, even when it goes against the popular view. Maybe it's the feeling of saying no to a request that doesn't align with your values or goals. Or it could be the sense of peace you feel as you pursue your dreams without seeking anyone's approval. Now enter that scene in your imagination. Do not merely visualize it as if watching a movie. Step into it. Be the protagonist in this drama of your creation. Feel the strength, the clarity, the unshakable certainty that comes with honoring your divine self. Make it as real and as vivid as you possibly can. And most importantly, feel the emotion, the power, the freedom, the self-respect that this new way of being brings you. Repeat this imaginal act night after night, day after day. Let it be the last thing you experience before drifting off to sleep, and the first thing you return to upon waking. Live in this state as often as you can, for in doing so, you are rewriting the script of your life. You are stopping being soft not through force or will, but through a fundamental shift in your concept of self. As you persist in this practice, you will begin to notice profound shifts in your outer world. You may find yourself naturally speaking your truth without fear. You may notice a new quality in your relationships as people begin to respect your boundaries and value your authentic self. You may discover wells of creativity and productivity that you never knew you possessed, simply because you've stopped stifling your divine inspiration. These changes, my friends, are not coincidences. They are the natural result of your shift in consciousness. They are the physical manifestation of your new understanding of self and your place in the universe. Do not question them. Do not doubt them. Simply accept them with gratitude, knowing that they are confirmation of the truth you have accepted in your imagination. But what of those moments when the old habits of softness and compliance creep back in? What of those times when the world of Caesar seems to demand that you shrink yourself, that you bend to others' will? This, beloved, is where your resolve is tested and strengthened. Remember, the outer world is a shadow, a reflection of past states of consciousness. It takes time for this shadow to fully align with your new state of being. During this period of transition, you must stand firm in your conviction. You must persist in your assumption that you are a divine being worthy of respect and honor. When you feel yourself slipping back into old patterns of softness, do not fight it. Do not resist it. Simply observe it, acknowledge it, and then gently return to the feeling of divine authority. Remind yourself that your imagination is the reality and that the world of Caesar must conform to it in due time. For it is written, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As you continue to practice stopping being soft to everyone, you will find that your entire being begins to shift. Your thoughts naturally align with your divine nature. Your words carry the weight of truth and authority. Your actions spring from a place of self-respect and divine purpose. You no longer seek permission or approval. You move through the world with the confidence of one who knows their true identity. This, my dear friends, is the art and science of living from your divine self. It is the method by which you can transcend the limitations of false softness and step into the fullness of your divine nature. It is not a rejection of love or kindness, but a profound affirmation of the highest form of love, the love that honors the divine in yourself and in others. As we delve deeper into this practice, let us consider the nature of reality itself. In the world of Caesar, reality appears to demand compliance and softness, a solid construct that we must navigate with caution and accommodation. But in the realm of imagination, in the kingdom of God within you, reality is fluid. You are the operant power, the divine being capable of reshaping your world through the power of your assumptions. When you stop being soft to everyone, you are essentially stepping out of the illusion of powerlessness and into the truth of your divine authority. You are selecting from the infinite possibilities that exist, the reality that aligns with your highest self. And as you dwell in that reality in your imagination, embodying the strength and authenticity of your true nature, you draw it into your physical experience. Consider the words of Scripture, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. This is not a promise of some future liberation. It is a profound statement about the nature of consciousness. In the instant that you shift your awareness, in the moment that you decide to stop being soft and start honoring your divine self, you are freed. And as you change, the world around you must change to reflect your new state of being. But my beloved listeners, I must caution you. This power is not to be used for domination or the harm of others. For in harming others, you only harm yourself. Remember, in the timeless reality of your true self, there is no other. We are all one, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Therefore, use this power wisely to uplift yourself and, by extension, all of humanity. As you practice stopping being soft to everyone, you may find that your relationships begin to shift. Those who are accustomed to your compliance may initially resist your new way of being. This is natural and to be expected. But do not be moved by appearances. Hold steady in your new concept of self and watch as your relationships transform. Some relationships may fall away, and this too is natural. Not everyone is ready to interact with you in your divine authority. But fear not, for as these relationships fade, new ones will emerge, relationships based on mutual respect, shared purpose, and recognition of the divine in each other. Embrace these shifts. Allow your imagination to soar beyond the confines of your current relationships. For in truth, the ultimate aim of this practice is not merely to change how others treat you, but to fully realize your oneness with the divine. It is to know beyond all doubt that you are an eternal being expressing itself in human form, that you are limitless, that you are in essence God expressing itself as you. Now let us address a question that may have arisen in your minds. If I am to stop being soft to everyone, does this mean I should never compromise or show flexibility? Should I become rigid and unyielding in all my interactions? The answer, my friends, is both yes and no. You see, stopping being soft to everyone in the conventional sense is not the same as becoming inflexible. To re-embody this state requires a shift in consciousness so profound that your very concept of compromise and flexibility is transformed. You do not become rigid, you become authentically you in all your divine complexity. Imagine, if you will, a mighty oak tree. It stands tall and strong, its roots deep in the earth, its branches reaching towards the sky. When the wind blows, does the oak resist with all its might? No, it sways and bends, but it does not break. It is flexible. yet it never compromises its essential nature as an oak. This is how you must approach your life when you stop being soft to everyone. You stand firm in your truth, your values, your divine nature. Yet you remain flexible in your interactions with the world, bending without breaking, adapting without compromising your essence. As you practice this, you will find that your interactions with others take on a new quality. What once felt like a constant struggle to please everyone now becomes a dance of authenticity. For you understand that in honoring your true self, you are also honoring the divine in others. But remember, my dear friends, this is not about becoming harsh or uncaring. It is about bringing more truth, more authenticity, more divinity into each interaction. It is about understanding that the fullness of your being is available to you here and now, if only you have the courage to claim it. Now let us delve deeper into the practical aspects of this practice. How does one maintain this state of divine authority throughout the day, amidst the demands and expectations of daily life? The key lies in cultivating a new habit of thought, a new way of perceiving and interacting with the world around you. Begin each day by immersing yourself in the feeling of your divine authority. Before you open your eyes in the morning, spend a few moments in the state of being your true, uncompromised self. Feel the strength, the clarity, the unshakable certainty that comes from knowing who you truly are. Let this feeling permeate your entire being, so that you carry it with you as you rise and begin your day. As you go about your daily activities, continuously remind yourself of your divine nature. When faced with a decision, ask yourself, what would my highest self choose? This simple question can shift your perspective dramatically, allowing you to approach situations from a place of divine authority rather than habitual softness. Practice self-respect in each moment, not from a place of ego, but from a place of divine recognition. Be grateful not for what others think of you, but for who you truly are. This attitude of self-respect aligns you with the frequency of your divine nature, drawing more reasons to honor yourself into your life. Watch your words carefully, for they are powerful creators. Speak as if each word were a declaration of your divine nature. Eliminate phrases of self-deprecation or unnecessary apology from your vocabulary. Instead of saying, I'm sorry to bother you, say, thank you for your time. Instead of saying, I'm not sure if this is right, but say, here's what I think. Your words shape your reality. Choose them as if they were divine decrees. In your interactions with others, bring a new level of authenticity and self-respect. Listen not out of obligation, but out of genuine interest. Speak your truth not with aggression, but with calm certainty. Set boundaries not out of fear, but out of self-love and respect for the divine in both yourself and others. When you find yourself slipping back into old patterns of excessive softness or people-pleasing, do not berate yourself. Simply observe it, acknowledge it, and gently guide your consciousness back to the state of divine authority. Remember, this is a practice. Like any skill, it takes time and patience to master. Be kind to yourself as you learn and grow. As you persist in this practice, you will begin to notice a profound shift in your perception of the world. What once seemed like demands become opportunities for self-expression. What once caused you anxiety is now met with calm certainty. You will find yourself naturally making choices that align with your highest good, effortlessly moving towards the realization of your deepest desires. But here, my beloved listeners, is where many stumble. As they begin to see the fruits of their new state of consciousness manifesting in the physical world, they become excited and impatient. They start to wonder how much time it will take for everyone to recognize and respect their new way of being. They look for signs and try to figure out the how and when of their complete transformation. In doing so, they slip out of their divine authority and back into the mindset of seeking external validation. This is a crucial point in your journey. When you begin to see your life transforming, when you notice the world rearranging itself to accommodate your new reality, you must hold steady in your assumption. Do not be moved by appearances. Do not try to figure out how or when your complete transformation will manifest. Simply continue to live from the state of divine authority, knowing with unshakable faith that what you have imagined must come to pass. Remember the words of Scripture. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, your thing. Your absolute knowing that you are a divine being worthy of respect and honor is the very substance that brings your new reality into physical manifestation. It is the evidence of the unseen truth of your divine nature. As you continue to stop being soft to everyone, you may find that your relationship with the concept of strength itself begins to change. You may discover that true strength is not about domination or control, but about unwavering self-respect and authenticity. For in truth, the state of divine authority is not about imposing your will on others. It is a state of consciousness, a way of being in the world that naturally commands respect. When you truly embody this state, you realize that there is nothing to prove, nothing to defend. Everything you could ever need, respect, love, success, flows naturally from your alignment with your divine self. This realization brings a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. You no longer seek validation from others, for you know that you are already whole, already complete, already divine. This, my dear friends, is the ultimate freedom. It is the state of being that all spiritual teachings point towards. It is the kingdom of heaven that is within you. When you stop being soft to everyone, you are claiming your rightful place in this kingdom. You are acknowledging your oneness with the divine, your role as a co-creator of reality. But let us be clear, this state of consciousness does not mean that you become inconsiderate or unloving. On the contrary, when you stop being soft to everyone, you become more genuinely loving, more intentional in your choices. You become acutely aware of the impact of your thoughts, words, and actions. You understand that each moment is an opportunity to express your highest self, to contribute to the world in a meaningful way. As we near the end of our time together, I want to address a question that may have arisen in your minds. If I am to stop being soft to everyone, does this mean I should never show vulnerability or admit to mistakes? The answer, my beloved, is that vulnerability and accountability take on a new meaning when you live from this state of consciousness. You see, when you stop being soft to everyone, your vulnerability becomes a strength, not a weakness, for you understand the power of authenticity. You don't hide your struggles or pretend to be perfect, but you also don't use your vulnerability as an excuse or a plea for pity. You own your experiences, your growth, your humanity, all while standing firm in your divine nature. In this state, you may find that you accomplish more than you ever thought possible, yet with less struggle and strain, for you are no longer pushing against the world or trying to please everyone. You are simply being your authentic divine self, allowing your life to unfold naturally in alignment with your true nature. And so, my dear friends, as we conclude this exploration of stopping being soft with everyone, I urge you to take this practice into your daily life. Begin now, in this very moment, to live from the state of divine authority. Feel the strength, the clarity, the self-respect that comes from knowing who you truly are. Remember, this is not about becoming harsh or uncaring. It is about embracing the fullness of your being. It is about aligning yourself with the deepest truth of your divine nature. It is about claiming your divine inheritance as an eternal being expressing itself in human form. As you leave this place and return to your daily lives, carry with you the knowledge that you are a divine being worthy of respect and honor. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Let it transform your perception of yourself and your place in the world. For in truth, you are not separate from the divine. You are the divine, experiencing itself through your unique perspective. Stop being soft to everyone, and watch as your life takes on a new depth and richness. Live from your divine authority and see how your path unfolds before you with grace and ease. Be the person who stands firm in their truth, and discover that you have always been that person, waiting to be acknowledged and expressed. Go forth, my beloved, and create the life you desire. For you are the operant power. You are the divine made flesh. You are the creator of your reality. Everything you could ever want or need is available to you now. Claim it. Live it. And always remember, the world is yourself pushed out. As you transform your inner world, as you stop being soft to yourself, your outer world must follow. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the truth that sets you free. In closing, I leave you with this thought. Each interaction is an opportunity to express your divine nature. Each challenge is an invitation to stand firm in your truth. In this journey of stopping being soft to everyone lies the secret to true empowerment. For when you fully embrace your divine authority, you tap into the infinite power of your true self. Live from your divine authority, and you will discover that true strength lies not in domination, but in authenticity. For in the divine reality, strength and love are one and the same. They are the very essence of your being, waiting to be expressed in each moment. Thank you, my dear friends, for your attention and your willingness to explore these profound truths. May you go forth in the knowing that you are divine, that you are powerful beyond measure, and that you are worthy of the utmost respect and honor. For you are, in truth, God expressing itself as you. Honor that divinity in yourself, and watch as the world rises to meet you. God bless you all.